One of you is flattering me right now, and I appreciate your kind thoughts. The other is stabbing me in every pore. Over-sharpened, one might say, even though the sharpen's at the minimum. One of you is cheap, affordable. The masses could use you to film their living room movies. The other, not so much. But is it better? Well, we'll find out today. Fuji versus Canon in the unlikeliest battle of our times.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
Now, can you tell that one of them is 3 times the cost, if not 4 times? I'm just throwing that out there. If it's not like super obvious right away, you might be like, I'll just save those thousands of dollars. Canon on your side. I always mix it up because Fuji's on this side, my right, but then it'll be on the left, and I hate this. So the little Fuji that could, Fuji XH2s with the 16mm 1.4 Fuji Legend lens. We're in f-log 2 just to show you that this is the maximum dynamic range. Your light might not be clipping, it probably is, but who cares? Versus Canon C70, what are we even doing here? Speed boosted with the Canon EF 24mm 1.4 Mark I, of course, in 12-bit RAW, the highest quality. Are we even seeing a difference? For some reason, Fuji, you're too sharp, you're angry, you got the claws out, you're -4 sharpening, don't know what you're doing, don't even like filming in f-log 2 in 4K, no thank you to that face. Versus, thank you, Canon, for giving me a break. You pretend that I eat oatmeal instead of deep-fried pickles for breakfast, and I appreciate that. I appreciate the love. So we're gonna go outside, set up a nice scene outside, test the dynamic range, the autofocus, all that, 3D pop versus these lenses, why 24mm might be your ultimate goal as a YouTuber. But first, in here, what the hell is your problem, Fuji? With Fuji f-log 2, I got a comment from Philip Peck. He makes Fuji-related videos. Go subscribe to him. And he said f-log 2, for some reason, is like way sharper and angrier than f-log 1. Let us see if he's right, or if we should all unsub from him immediately. Boom. Could I now be loved by at least a dog? Someone's dog. Would they lick my hand if I stuck it out? Are we better? Should we unsub from that guy or what? Less sharpened? Colors maybe a little shift? Less red than that asshole? Could I be dated? Would a squirrel family like throw things at me or say, oh, do you have nuts? Would they let me into their tribe? Which one? Now, side by side, how are the colors signed? This is an orange shirt. Should look very orangey. It's not red. A lot of times people are like, what color's the shirt? How could I even describe a color online? Go to sleep and think of a better question. Okay, now we're doing Astia, which ironically has ruined my life. I bought the Fuji X-H2s because of its supposed amazing dynamic range, because it did 14-bit in f-log 2, and then I was like, oh, but my face looks like a cat attacked it and poked holes in every one of my pores, enlarging them and not even giving me a moisturizer. That's bullshit. So Canon's probably better for me, but I realized Astia has better colors, and now that dynamic range advantage that I had supposedly gone. And now what do you do for me? You just have hunting autofocus. Speaking of which. Won that battle. So far, Canon dual pixel autofocus, I must say, it's smoother than Sony when it does get you. It's just more pleasing and reliable and steady, like the speed of it as you move. It's just predictable and smooth and brilliant, but Sony never loses me. So far, you're not losing me, but you're less reliable. Whereas Fuji, in here, if you don't move much, it's actually quite good. It's good enough. Talking head stuff, even out in nature, I can walk around, as you'll see soon, but it's not as smooth. There's always going to be some whipping action, and it's bad news. All right, let's go outside, pick a nice little scene, and then see who has the better dynamic range. We'll go back in F-Log 2 for your sharpened cat footage. And all right, Astia, goodbye. One of them is going to vlog better at high noon. Am I wrong about that? You wait for that scene. Oh, you wait, it's coming. I already ruined it. I showed it to you. I blurred it out though, did I not? So we're on the Fuji XH2s. Things are clipping, but I made a list of demands and things that you'll notice. Which one should you buy? I had a chance to look over the footage. Fuji Stabe, how we doing? If you're careful, 16mm 1.4. That Fuji is sharp, and hot damn, don't even lie and say you preferred the C70. We all like the Fuji. It's cheaper and better. Thousands of dollars gone in a garbage. High noon lighting exists. Let's see if the Canon C70 can vlog, and then we set up a little scene here. Oh God, that's a hefty beach. Oh, that is heavy. It took me an hour and a half to find the digital stabe, realizing I had to turn RAW off to get digital stabe, but it is superior to Fuji in every way. We got the full 10-stop internal NDs on there. There's still things clipping. How's that stabe? Is it? Oh, it's so heavy. This would be the worst vlogging setup in the history of mankind. Are you seeing that purple circle of hell? And when you go backlit, and apparently there's like a purple circle that shows up and ruins your life because of the speed booster. Has that happened yet? We're vlogging. Are you seeing sunshine done wrong? I do not know how to expose for the Canon C70. I put zebras at 100%, never saw them. I know there's waveforms. The benefit of this camera is the amount of exposure tools, but I'm not used to them yet. I don't know what false color does. So here we have, I stopped them both down slightly just to bring a little background into your heart. Relax. Man, there's no guardrail here. I could totally just fall off into that lake. Oh, that... Don't you wish that on me. Does one have more pop? Unbelievable. Okay, so I made some notes. We have noticed that the Canon C70 with the speed booster and a used Canon lens here is $5,600 and weighs 2139 grams. Are you joking? I thought he said Camera Conspiracies. Hey, Camera Conspiracies. But it was Candace. It's bullshit. I'm not as famous as I thought. XH2s, only $29.35. It's like less than half the cost. I mean, more than half. 1062 grams. Half the weight, basically. It's cheaper and lighter for basically a better image, if we're being real. Are we being real? I think we're noticing that. A couple things I noticed, and when we filmed the movie earlier on in my living room, I noticed that F-Log 2 is way sharper than F-Log 1. Philip Peck deserves at least 7 subscribers now. Thank you, my friend. I can't believe I've never noticed that. It's like so overly dramatic sharpened, but like out here, you kind of want that. If you're 30 feet away from the camera, then good for you. Hey, Canon. How come you're so soft and pleasing and beautiful? Unbelievable. Let's see what happens if we turn around. Okay, backlit, no exposure change. You're clipping now. Oh boy, this was a mistake. Big mistake happened right now. Uh-oh, the zebra. Uh-oh. Oh, this is not working. Okay, what we're noticing, maybe there's a purple circle of hell. I might be better exposed on the Canon. I highly doubt either of them is working right now. This is a terrible example of what not to do. Okay, we aborted the hell out of that angle. Mainly, the reason you would get this is it's more professional. There's more tools. If you had a gimbal, like the funny thing is, this is not a run and gun thing. Unless you have a stabilized lens, but then you're crippled on your own time. Your zoom lens, oh, it has OIS, this is so good. It's not good at all. And you have to get RF lenses pretty much at that point. So it's like, I don't know, the digital stabe was probably okay. I don't know if that Canon C70 can do 4K 120 with digital stability. Maybe it could. It would look weird. I bet you. I heard a fish flop in the water. But you have the advantage. 4K 120 with a crop, and then HD 240 with a huger crop. Versus you have HD 180 with a massive crop and no autofocus. That's bad news. It looks okay, but like no RAW, no DGO sensor. That's the main thing you have, DGO, for the dynamic range. For these moments where it's like super bright sky, I'm in the shadows, backlit, side lit, but I'm exposed, whereas Fuji, probably similar, somewhat similar. It's like the look is, you're tossing them at this point. Some will prefer you, some prefer you. Save your money. But then the autofocus, what are you gonna do there?
She's waiting for my love. She's waiting, waiting for my love. She's waiting.
One huge advantage of the Canon, as I will attempt to prove to you, is the built-in ND system, which somewhat is very handy. That's nice. So you're like wide open, Candace is in the shot. Those are good times. No, blur her. Witness protection mode engaged. Huh? You know what I mean? Versus Fuji, I have one on here, but it's barely, okay, it's perfectly strong enough. There was some moments where this wasn't, even though it's a 6 to 9 stop, it was like not quite enough. So that's scary, and I had to bring it. The most annoying thing for me is having to switch my only ND filter out and all these step-up rings and what am I gonna film on today? And I have all these different options, and then, oh yeah, the ND's on this one. It's annoying. One thing no one mentions as a con to this, the tripod plate, the one in the middle is a huge screw that I don't have any adapter to, so I'm off-centered. That's stupid as hell. It has a huge one in the center and then 2 in the side for professional plates, but my dinky ones are off-centered now. There's a bug. Ah, not that I'm complaining about battery life on the Fuji, it's pretty good. But that Canon battery, even I have the tiny one, the AP30, and I was debating like, oh, I'll get a second one, why not get the 90? But it's huge, it sticks out. I would just get 2 30s, and it's like lined up right with the back, it doesn't stick out. What's your problem, asshole? One cool thing, you can manually focus and then it will find you again. Even though your shot is bullshit and you're backlit and you don't know what you're doing, it will attempt to find you. It's not looking like it is. Okay, we're not learning a whole lot. This segment's gone straight to hell. Oh boy, I will leave. I will leave. The point is, I didn't need either of these cameras, and it was dumb. I had the Nikon Z6 III, and I did not need to get either of these. They're actually both worse than the Nikon in every way, and now I just have a whole situation at home where it's confusion, but I do prefer Canon skin tones to anyone else. I like Fuji colors more than anyone else, sometimes. I feel like on paper, this Fuji should be the better system for run and gun stuff, slow motion street videography with IBIS, any prime, but the reality is the autofocus just does not get you. Whereas Canon, I don't even want to try doing that. It would be 4K 120 only. I prefer 240. That's not gonna work. So like, you're both bad. The R5 II would have been the better choice, and then we could actually do street videography, but who's gonna do that? Nobody. Somebody won. Let me know. Who won the battle indoors and then outdoors? 24mm, that's your lens. For a lot of stuff, you can vlog with it, amazing studio lens, and you could come out. It's not like an 85 out here, that would have been nice with the compression, but what the hell's that sound? It's a plane. Oh, I'm at an airport. There's boats and it's an airport. I'm gonna leave. We learned something. We learned that Bitcoin's up there. We learned that I should dive in this lake.